What can you even say at this point, man? He can't keep getting away with this. The trio of Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot. When it comes down to the very final game, they have won yet another Cash Cup, the first Trio Cash Cup finals of the season. We also have to talk about what in the world happened to Ferdoxy team off spawn today. Why did Pollo and them struggle, and so much more. We're good to see stars though. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. If you guys want to watch any of the set lobby finals with me, make sure you guys either follow me on my Twitch or come back here on the YouTube to watch it as well. I appreciate everybody that stopped by today. I truly do love and appreciate all you guys. Without further ado though, we have a lot to talk about. Let's get this video started. So yes, like I said earlier, the trio that finished in first place was none other than Ritual, Cold, and Peter. They finished with 462 points. We're not able to win any games today, but they did of course finish with the most elims in this entire tournament, and it wasn't even necessarily close either. They finished with 68 total elims, which was 22 more elims than the second highest trio, and they were also the most consistent team of the day as well, getting an average placement of 4.5. And this trio's match history from today was a 12 elimination 5th, 13 elimination 2nd, 12 elimination 7th, 11 elimination 4th, 6 elimination 7th, and a 14 elimination 2nd in the very final game, a game in which they were actually down by 6 total points going into it to the trio in second place of Curve, Tyler, and Craze, who I just want to start off by giving this trio so much credit. They finished with 423 points, won half of the matches today, getting 3 out of 6 wins, and finished with the second most elims, getting 46 total elims. Now some people will say like, oh, they have an uncon Hive in the finals, which is one of the best drops on the entire map. Of course they're gonna place good, which yeah, I guess you could technically say that, but we saw another trio like Queasy's team on EU today finish 23rd with a fully uncon Hive, and then even Pollo's trio, who we'll talk about later, they were also fully uncontested, and they didn't come anywhere close to the performance that Curve, Tyler, and Craze put on today. Their match history was a 14 elimination win, 12 elimination win, 12 elimination 2nd, 4 elimination win, and then in the very final 2 games when they had the lead on Peter's trio, you know that Peter had to activate his grief mode, and this is what ended up happening in game number 5. Is that Crazy's trio, or is that the one that he's trading with? I think that's what he's looking for too. He's looking for Crazy's trio, but does he know which one's Crazy's team is? Oh, there's Tyler. He found him. Tyler almost gets cracked too. Peter misses the dive bomb, but he still gets there, and Tyler goes down. I feel like Tyler and them had to expect that though. Like, I know you barely get any audio, but you know it's Peter at the end of the day. He's gonna make some crazy play. And then in game number 6, everybody asked the question, is Peter's team going to land on them like he did to Pollo's trio to end the last grand finals? And today he decided not to, because he was only down by 6 points to Crazy's trio. They were hunting for them pretty much the entire game, but they were not able to find them until the end game. But it just didn't matter, because like we all know now, Peter's trio, like they seem to do time and time again, got the job done and won yet another tournament. Also, another very important thing to know about this tournament was this was their first fully uncontested tournament from their new drop spot of the OXR base. So they didn't end up getting contested by Akira's team. They tried to land their one game, but it didn't necessarily go the best for them. So yeah, another tournament win for Peter, but I also want to make sure I am giving major credit to Crazy's trio. This is giving me some flashbacks to when Craze actually played with Virgo and Shadow, and they were looking absolutely nasty. They placed like 3rd place in a Showdown Cup, won an Eval Cup, and then they split when Craze ended up sneaking them for Booga. So I really do hope that this team just ends up sticking together. But now that I honestly think about it, we're most likely going to duos next year, so it might be a little too late for these guys to show their max potential as a trio, but for the rest of the season at least, they should hopefully look very good. 3rd place was another brand new trio of G-Money, Josh, and Rise on 318. They finished with 37 total elims and had an average placement of 7.3. 4th place, back to his classic position, was the trio of Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs. They were just 1 point behind Rise's trio, finishing with 317 points. Also not able to win any games today, but did finish with 31 total elims, and they were the 3rd most consistent team of the day, getting an average placement of 6.0. Their match history was a 1 elimination 7th, 10 elimination 6th, 0 elimination 11th, 8 elimination 2nd, 3 elimination 6th, and a 9 elimination 4th. I don't even know if I can necessarily say this is like a crazy confidence boost for this trio going into the globals now after a pretty rough last grand finals performance. I think this was pretty much just like the bare minimum that they could have done this Cash Cup. I would have liked to see them inside of the top 3, but I'm also not going to sit up here and act like a 4th place is bad or anything like that. Another trio that had a very big bounce back performance from their grand finals performance was 5th place of Reed Cooper and Curly on 293. They honestly look like a whole different trio today than they showed in grands, and I hope they're able to keep that consistency up. 6th place is a team that is probably the most disappointing team of the day on NA of Agers, Acorn, and Poyo. They finished on only 273 points. We're not able to win any games, but they did finish with the 3rd most elims, getting 40 total elims. Now, if you guys are wondering, yes, like I said earlier, they were fully uncontested at Demon's Debris for 6 out of 6 matches today, and their match history was a 1 elimination 15th, 4 elimination 5th, 12 elimination 4th, 9 elimination 11th, 6 elimination 14th, and an 8 elimination 9th. So only having 3 games inside of the top 10 and 2 games inside of the top 5 as the trio that was pretty much unanimously picked to win this Cash Cup. And a lot of people are even saying, including myself, are the current favorites to win globals. Like, this is just not the performance that I feel like anybody wanted to see, especially them themselves. I hope that they don't go back to being a hit or miss team after being so consistent last season, even when they were contested. I hope they use this performance as a wake-up call and they're able to fully lock in, come back next week, and look like, once again, one of the best teams in the world. But a very disappointing performance from them either way. 7th place was Rapid Kanata in Bolts on 265. I mean, I could maybe see if people wanted to say that this is disappointing for them, as a trio that just finished in 3rd place in grands and had a real shot of winning that grand finals as well. They were relatively consistent, getting an average placement of 8.6, but they just necessarily weren't up there on the elim category, finishing with the 7th most elims in the entire top 10, and that is just not necessarily ever really going to be a recipe for success. Hoping to see this trio show out next week as well. 8th place is Phaser King and PH Zen on 211. Also another trio that didn't necessarily have like the craziest, most consistent match history, but they did end up getting contested for the first couple of their games, and they were able to win off spawn every single time. But still, about where I expect this trio to finish, so pretty solid performance from them. 9th place, another brand new trio of Threats, Ozone, and Chimp on 198, and then rounding out the top 10 was 2 other land players of Victor V and Paper, and then they're filled this week of Possessed. We did unfortunately have some other LAN teams really struggle today, like 25th place of Mush, Shadow, and Sphinx. They do get a pass on the day though, because Sphinx actually tweeted out, power goes out end game on game 2 and is completely out till tomorrow. So as you can literally see in their match history, they were only able to play 3 total matches out today. And then Visuals Brazen Diminished majorly struggled, finishing in 30th place today, only getting 12 points in 6 completely uncontested matches from Foxy Floodgate. I said this in my live stream though, if you guys were there, this is never a team that I really expect to do good in Cash Cups. It's kind of weird to say, but they are almost just like grand finals merchants, where they do pretty bad in pretty much every single eval cup, do bad in almost every single Cash Cup, but then they still find a way to top 5 every single grand finals. So even for how bad of a placement they had today, I can't even lie to you guys, I'm not even necessarily that worried about them. And then that was pretty much it for all of our big name trios on NA today. Moving on to the final statistics here now, we can finally start looking at damage to players again, because even though this meta has some surge trading, there is so many more just absolutely psycho plays that we see getting used, and absolutely dominating all of the main statistical categories. The player that has been, to me, the best player of this entire season, none other than Twiz Cold. Highest damage ratio with a 2.66, most damage dealt with 9,116, and the most elims with 31 total elims. Cold has been on an absolute heater ever since last season. But I mean, hey, he also got his dynamic duo right behind him, because Peter had the 2nd best damage ratio with a 2.18, the 2nd most damage with 9,016, and the 2nd most elims with 26 total elims. I've seen some people bring up the conversation once again of, hey, Peter and Cold for duos? Maybe. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. Do you guys think Peter should duo with Cold or Pollo? The most assist was also the 2-horse monster of Peter and Cold with 56 elims for Peter, 51 for Cold. The rest of the elim leaderboard was like 10th of Cooper, 9th of Clicks, 8th of Acorn, 7th of Agers, 6th of Threats, 5th place of Ritual. Huge shout out to Ritual as well. He has also just been on such a heater recently. He is looking so primed up for the global championships right now. And I think in general, this team has to be labeled as the best trio in the entire world. There is no other team that is as consistent as them. And even though they're going to be conned at globals, if they're able to split the POI or even win off spawn like 8-4, I think there is still a real possibility that Peter's trio could finish inside of the top 5. Here's the rest of the stats if you guys care about any of that. Let's actually move on to the chaos that was EU now. Now in EU, what in the world actually just happened today? Our LAN team struggled like crazy. The unthinkable happened off spawn for Ferdoxy. Let's start off with the winner of this tournament though, of Comeback, Shark, and Blaha. They finished with 394 points, won 2 out of their 6 matches, and got 29 total elims as well. Definitely the most impressive part about their entire Cash Cup today was their average placement, which was a 3.1. This trio's match history today was a 5 elimination second, 2 elimination 7th, 6 elimination win, 8 elimination second, 6 elimination win, and a 2 elimination 6th. You really do just have to feel so good for this trio after so many hardships that they have been going through recently, from getting 3 times second places in the last chance qualifiers to not even being able to make it into the grand finals to now in the first Cash Cup finals of the season winning the whole thing as a trio. Like, I feel like in Fortnite especially, if another trio got second place 3 times in the last chance qualifiers, they would have instantly split up right after that, but these guys decided to stick together and they look absolutely amazing after the first tournament of the season. Second place is a brand new trio though of Sky Scroll and Sand Guild on 375. Sharks trio and Scrolls trio were pretty much in a 2-horse race for potentially winning this Cash Cup because there was over a 100-point gap between second and third place. Scrolls trio though won 2 out of these 6 matches and finished with the second most elims in this entire Cash Cup, getting 37 total elims. I mean, hey, I don't know how many people really predicted that a trio could drop Thomas HD for Sand Guild and somehow get better, but Sky and Scroll are looking very good right now. Third place was Dela, Kiro, and Bevies on 260. Fourth place is our first full LAN trio, tied with them, of iDrop, Hari, and Cammy, also on 260. This trio pretty much did exactly what we would expect them to do. They finished with the least elims in the entire top 10, only getting 17 total elims, but they did have an average placement of 6.67, so they were the 3rd most consistent team this entire tournament. Fifth place is 2 more LAN players and then a fill of Vidil of Mr. Savage, Chap, and Vidil on 242. They honestly played a pretty solid tournament today. They showed their real fragging capabilities, finishing tied for the 3rd most elims in this entire tournament, getting 35 total elims. I've seen so many people in the Savage comm already say that like, oh, they should have dropped Rezon for Vidil at the beginning of the season, and Vidil is so much better than Rezon and things like that. I think Vidil and Rezon currently are very similar players, but I think Vidil has honestly started to become kind of underrated over these past couple of seasons. I think the only thing that Vidil really necessarily does better for this trio, if you want to say that, is in the end games he is a lot calmer with his comms, and it's a lot less chaotic with just like Chap and Rezon just screaming comms all end game. So I think there is a little bit more continuity there, but that's nothing that like Rezon can't fix and improve in his gameplay. But at the same time, he's just a very passionate player in general, and if it works for him, it works for him, and he doesn't even necessarily really need to change that. But I don't think this tournament performance today was anything to call like for Rezon to be getting dropped or something like that. Rezon is going to be getting back on the 20th, so he is also going to be missing the Eval Cup tomorrow, but he should be back just in time for the 2nd Trio Cash Cup opens. 6th place is Akira, Skydrump, and Warix on 236. 7th place, our next full LAN team of Venya, Pixie, and Marius on 231. So many trios in this EU Cash Cup. We're literally just W keying and crashing out on each other today.
I'm diving.
I'm following Chap. Just follow Chap video.
Yeah. Are we?
In my box. 1v.
Dead.
Dead.
Very wide.
To that.
Dead. Nice. Finish us.
Nice.
Like Vino was complaining that nobody was search trading with him, the same thing that Queasy was saying as well. And so I mean, it's kind of hard to say that like one specific team disappointed when pretty much every single LAN team disappointed today. 8th place, probably one of our biggest surprises of the day. We have the trio of Chris, Tayson, and Chicho on 220 points. Now, I'm not gonna lie, nobody cares about this placement right here. The thing that everybody is talking about is in the first off spawn battle they went up against Ferdoxy's trio, they beat them 5-0 off spawn. Yes, you heard that correctly. 5 wins for Tayson's trio, 0 wins for Ferdoxy's trio. Ferdoxy's team was not able to load into one of the games, but I can't lie, getting 5-0'd off spawn as the player that many people, including myself, have said is the best off spawn fighting team in the entire world is legit almost just like unacceptable. And it's not even like he's losing to like Peter's trio or Pollo's trio or even like Queasy, who a lot of people also say is another one of the best off spawn fighting teams in the entire world. They cannot take a single game off of Tayson, Chris, and Chicho in the first time that either of these trios have ever gone against each other. We saw some positive tweets out of Pablo though, saying like reverse sweep next week, but then Tayson also just seems fully locked in right now. Literally as soon as the tournament ended, he said need 3 for off spawns, ours and your spot in 1 hour, and then after that he tweeted out that they went 6-0 off spawn versus Ferdoxy's trio. So even after winning every single round off spawn versus the team that everybody says is the best off spawn fighting team in the entire world, he still looks to be fully locked in, fully grinding, and he's not getting complacent. And I honestly love to see this out of Tayson right here. Definitely 100% proved me wrong. Am I like fully out on Ferdoxy's trio? No, obviously not. I don't think one bad tournament determines who you are as a trio, but at the same time, if there is a repeat of this next week in the finals, his off spawn rep is already taking a very big hit after this week. But I think if we see another repeat of this happen next week, then his off spawn rep, we have to say, is similar to what was happening to Peter last season when he was just getting absolutely destroyed by Pollo off spawn. If you're wondering what place Ferdoxy's trio finished in, they finished in 32nd place today, only got 3 total points in 5 matches, and only got 1 full elim onto Tayson's trio off spawn. Moving on with the rest of the leaderboard, we have Nebs, Twy, and Axe Force in 9th, and then rounding out the top 10 was Wheat and Frizzy and Sined in 10th. So you can see that this top 10 leaderboard does not look anything really similar to what we have been seeing recently. Also in this finals on EU, there was like barely any search trading. We saw so many fights happen, so many different entertaining things. This was honestly, I don't think it's going to be super similar to how Globals is going to play out, but it was still a very entertaining finals to watch either way. 11th place was Vico, Vino, and Flixie on 191. 13th place was Pigstarm and Demas on 187. So 2 more of our LAN teams that really did just struggle today. Pink Thomas and Sato finished in 15th, Focus Mixon and Upple in 16th. 23rd place was Swizzy, Queasy, and Murstache. I'm not even necessarily going like in depth on why each of these LAN teams struggled, because like I said earlier, when all of them are struggling, it's kind of hard to like pinpoint why one of them specifically are struggling. And then that was about it for all of our big name trios. Now for the final statistics, the highest damage ratio was Scroll with a 2.16. The damage to players, this stat is actually interesting this week because we really barely saw any surge bases. So the leader in damage was actually our Cash Cup winner of Comeback with 7,700. The most assists was Scroll with 42. Time and Storm was Mixin. Time alive was Shark with 2 hours and 37 minutes. So Shark was alive for 3 more minutes than any other player in this lobby. The other stats are down here, and then for the whole Elim leaderboard, we have Tip-Bombs in 10th with 12, Akira in 9th, Scroll in 8th, Chap in 7th with 15, and then there's a pretty much just a massive tie between like 7th all the way to 2nd because Skrill is in 2nd with 15th, Shark is in 5th with 15th, Vidil is in 4th with 15th. I told you guys, Vidil has been absolutely primed up recently, even though people aren't really talking about it that much. Hellfire in 3rd with 16, Marius in 2nd with 16, and then Kiro in 1st with 20. Other than that though, super fun day of tournaments on both EU and NA. Remember, if you guys want to watch any of these future finals tournaments with me, make sure you guys follow me on my Twitch or come back to this channel on the day of NA finals. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we also try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. YouTube says there's like 1 of these 2 videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.